So my baby isn't in the camera with me. She is over there on the ground. But she's making some noise. Yep, there we go. Maybe I started the stream like 20 seconds too soon. She's gonna get hungry. She is hungry. She just doesn't know it because she's asleep. Hold on. All right. So, welcome back to another DadBod Dev with baby. Let's just jump straight into this. So, I mean, last week we made some fetching awesome progress. We swapped things over so that, well, the loadout of the player would sync across players. That was awesome. Really, really awesome work done there. I think from there, I kind of need to go through and change up a lot of different pieces to use the item resource to spawn in the entity as opposed to unparenting the entity every single time I need to store it. So that'll be the step to do right now. I'm looking for my tab on it. All right, DadBod. Cool. Right. Yep, so we need to update the item chooser system to use the item resource. We need to update the question to use the item resource. So it's like if we get a question right, for example. So let's just jump over to our item chooser. Yeah, so right now, our item chooser system has this global, it sets the item chooser system to self, which makes sense. It hides its UI on ready, great. It shows items, this get tree, get nodes, and group item system. That's something we're going to need to play with as well. It has a list of all of the items in the game. We're going to need to play with that as well. And its item list is just an array of packed scenes, which we're going to need to change to be an array of items. Let's just do that right now. Hopefully that throws some errors elsewhere, but it might not. Godot type system, especially with arrays and dictionaries, isn't perfect yet. Yeah, a list of allowable items. So this is also going to be an array of items. We're going to do quite a few things actually here. So. So we're going to get the item system, set the allowable items to just this complete item list. We're going to set the item multiplier equal to that. We're going to self item count is equal to what was provided. Reroll enabled is equal to reroll. Okay. And we're going to call display items. So we do have an error here now. I'm going to randomize things so that when I pick an item with rand I from the allowable items, it's going to be different each time. So in this case, the allowable item rand int, I'm getting it as an entity. I'm just going to get this as an item. So I'm going to say raw item. And displayed items dot keys. Say rand int the item is already displayed, reroll. Yep, okay. So item choosers, which is an item selection row. Right now it has set entity. I'm going to change this to be set item. Hi, yeah. You waking up? You, oh, hold on, sleep. So, what is this item? Item is the instantiation then of the entity that was provided. The item packed scene. Don't care about that. Don't care about queue freeing things because the item is just a resource. Don't care about creating the item in the pool. About any of this. I don't really care about instantiating, none of that. I'll just point it out just because you never know. You might get to the end of the line and be like, ah. Yeah. Okay, so next up, I guess, I did get the item component, but I don't need to do that anymore because the item itself has an icon, name, and description. Right there. Name, description. So the only thing I really need to do is set item, stuff that item, item. And if the item is selected, we're just going to emit. And I'm going to convert indentation to tabs because that generally gets messed up. And boom, there we go. Okay. And get rid of this item packed scene. Don't care about it. Now, the item choosers dot set item displayed items entity is equal to true. We'll set that to item. Okay. I don't know what displayed items is. Okay, right here. Okay. Yep, so I keep track of the items that have been rolled. Makes sense? Okay. Alright, so if we choose an item, this. No. So on item selection row selected, which is this item selected, it emits this, and this I would expect it to be an item. So we're going to choose that item. Item. This is right now a pack scene. I'm going to rename this to just be item. To item. So that instead of needing to instantiate a scene, the only thing that we really need to do then is I don't need to add the child. I don't need to instantiate it. I need to put a loadout component and call store on it because it's already expecting an item. So that should fix our issue with the item chooser system. And I mean, let's just test it, shall we? See if we get any errors. Let's have this health issue. Is level up. And my volume. There's a correct syntax to get a substring from a string in Python. Okay, so we did get an error. That is probably because our item system now doesn't have anything in it. So let's add arcade. Let's duplicate this and do here. Yeah, where is it? Huh? Where is it? I guess we're gonna be pure. The actual be pure. Not double. I'll do that just to make sure that actually it works. Then we have the pure. And the outer component. You know what? I want to make this a bigger text field. Export multi-line. Okay, so now we can actually see it all. Grades and grease attacked by 2. What's next? What are the items do we have? We have the staple gun. Equip. Go. Push for gym pass. And I think last but not least, we have something called this issue. She's waking up, guys. Alright, yeah. So we might have to have an intermission while I go and feed my daughter. Okay. These are all the items. Now if we go back to our item system, 5. We put our gym class in here. We put our computer in here. Put our speedy shoe in here. And that's why we start staple gun. And we try again. Let's see how we do. Over here, west. Yeah. Particle operator can be used both in the reverse and reverse. Okay, we still got an error. So, item shoe system 52. Oh, I got an error here. I guess I have no expect one here. So let's we're gonna print the allowable headers. Okay, so allowable items on size was 0. That's why it's giving you the error. So even though I updated the item list, item system with these 5 items in the array, it's still telling me that the allowable items is empty. Weird. Let's keep trying. Let's see what our print statements say. Okay, I should go this way to get something. That's fine. Picking it right or wrong. That's wrong. Allowable items are blank. Okay. Alright, are they blank? Oh, you know what? Because I may have changed. Here's the item system. If we undo that, now we have our 5 items. There we go. Okay. That might be a poor implementation. And yeah, you know what we're going to do? We are going to just add some experience. In here. So we can level up faster. And I don't have to go and kill anything. Okay, there we go. We got here. Then all of our resources. We're going to choose the computer. Attempted to free a reference. Enter your system 96. Okay. Don't need to delete the other items anymore. Everything is just a resource. We get the loadout component and we add the item to all players. Let's try again. Guess you can't see her. There we go. We know this is the part you guys all care about. Okay. Gonna change up the TADE. Boom. Alright, so we have updated in our system, our computer, to use the item. Okay. Let's take a look at this health bar being empty. Okay. What? Weird. Lookup has lots of features that I just don't know about. Alright, so health bar is empty. Update question. Okay. Okay, so player doing server sync. The server sync is syncing the health current and health actual health max. So if we take a look at this, then I guess that this health current would indeed start at 0. So we're going to set health current equal to the actual health max. And when we calculate modifiers then, we got more health added, if we got less removed, but don't go below 1. Okay. Yeah. That should all work in my favor. There we go. Full health. Boom. Let's give it a big image. Yeah. You take damage. You should technically die. Yep, you just did. No effect, but you did die. So those questions are being generated by AI, by the way, which makes them way cooler, personally. Okay. Health bar is empty. Resolved. Oh. Are we waking up, little one? Is it time to eat? Oh. Mhm. Okay. Don't need to worry about that. Okay. Next up is setting up the question system to be multiplayer functional, multiplayer aware. Alright. Can we go back to sleep? How has it been since you 2.5 hours and I had 2 ounces? I expect you to be hungry. It's about half what she normally eats, and she's lasted about 30 minutes longer than she normally does. Benefits of sleeping. Super nice. Okay, so we might have an intermission. While I go and get her food. She's not screaming yet. I tend to try and wait for at least some measure of noise, just so I really know she wants it, you know? But let's see. Making the multiplayer question system. Let's see, multiplayer question system. Which means we need to open up our questions. Okay. And I believe it's the question control then that we'll need to receive. So on answer selected. Alright, so let's just think this through a little bit. In multiplayer, I guess I would expect people to be able to vote on an answer. Specifically in multiple choice. They'll be able to vote on an answer. And so, I mean, I know that the item chooser already has this multiplayer vote functionality, but the question control does not. We need to add it. Technically, the item chooser, this multiplayer vote doesn't. It doesn't do anything. Obviously, you can see that. So, gonna need to set things up so that excuse me, actually for both of these, so that in both cases the players can vote on the things they want to receive. So on the item they want to get, the question control on the question, the answer they want to choose. We want people to be able to collaborate. And this also means that, like, for a code response, for a coding question, I'm going to need to set it up so that people can type together to answer the question. So I need to make a collaborative shared IDE. Which I have done before. So I can kind of just copy what I did to make it previously into the current system. And honestly, it should be a lot easier to make it here than where I did make it, which was in Unity using a web browser. Like there were so many layers there that were going on. And I got it working. I'm proud of that. I got it working. But I don't want to do that again. So we are just going to do it here, and it's going to be awesome. So let me write that. Let me write down all the things I just said. Okay, so we got our multiplayer question system. We'll do multiplayer item chooser. Implement the ability to vote. Our multiplayer question system. Multiplayer question system. Ability to vote on multiple choice. Ability to collaboratively vote. Okay. So do DadBod. Okay, so first things first is the multiplayer question system, because I need everyone to move through that UI in the same way. So that when we get to the multiplayer item chooser, everyone is there as expected. So just take a look at the multiplayer question system. And let's focus specifically on the ability to vote on multiple choice questions. Sorry, I know you can't see that in my ClickUp, so I organize all my things that needed to be built. So let's see if we can read that one. Another thing that needs to happen technically is the shared experience. I don't care too much about this one for now, because experience is technically already shared, just because when it gets spawned in all of the places across the network, and it's picked up by the person who's there. There's the off chance that there's a slight discrepancy between where someone is in one place on one client versus another, and the experience doesn't actually end up getting picked up. Now, that will need to be resolved in the long run, but for right now, I don't care too much about it. All right, so first things first is our ability to vote on multiple choice questions in the question system. So let's do that. So we have a question control, show multiple choice UI with our question multiple choice data object here. And we have this on answer selected. And let's see if is it an ECSOB, I guess. Systems, full system, question system. So we have our answer control, which will say we are selected item is correct, which calls this, if I'm not mistaken, selected, connect, on answer selected. Boom. Okay. So on answer selected, we have to modify this to handle multiple people's inputs. So I suppose first things first is actually ability to get an icon for a player. So basically I need to be able to retrieve some icon for a player. I guess for now, we don't need that. It's not necessary. It'd be nice to have, but for now we can just show a number. It's like how many people voted for what thing. And we also want a timer so that if, like, let's say people have 30 seconds to choose, maybe 15 max. And if they don't choose in that time frame, then the game just continues on. That way, if anybody is asked away from keyboard, our game will continue to function. We aren't just kind of stuck waiting for the person who's gone to vote. Okay. So we want that timer. So question control. Timer. Wait time. We'll just say it's 15 seconds. That'll do 30. Okay, so we have our timer. Technically, it's just act there. Okay, so set question, updates UI, reflect the given question. Show QR, show code response UI, show question choice, multiple choice UI. And if it's multiple choice UI for now, I'm going to start the timer. Okay. So let's make this out a bit better then, shall we? So need a countdown label. Shows the timer name and the timer. I need a timer. We have that. To update. This is the bigger issue. Need to update the question control to accept RPC calls. Players to vote on their desired question. Okay. What is that question answer? Okay. So I suppose what we want to do is this. Player ID. Int. 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 Visible. So we're going to add a new child to new answer control. We want to make sure its name makes sense for internet. We're going to set it up. This should all happen pretty naturally. I guess a big piece as well is that in the question, we need to share the question with all clients. So when we call this set question with this question, we actually need it to be RPC. All local. I have no idea how it's going to work with this question object in here. I don't know if this can work with anything other than primitive types. But I mean, we're going to find out. So if all else fails, I just need to shift this over into being a dictionary. And then I construct the question out of the dictionary, which is technically what I do when I receive the information from the excuse me. That's what I do when I receive the information from the server when I ask the AI to build the question for me. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if this works. I do doubt it. I doubt it'll be able to serialize and deserialize this object for me, but maybe it will be. We'll see. Maybe it might be something they've thought of. If it has, great. Cool. I love it when things just work. Okay, so we've got this RPC call local. So this will call this function everywhere, both the server and the client. I should say that I would only expect the server to be able if multiplayer.is server. So if we're not the server, we return. Oh, that's not quite right. That's not what we want to do. We do want this to be called everywhere. But what we want to happen is we only want to call this set question So this show question should only be called on the server, I think. So this is our level up effect, calling question system that show question. I think this is going to take a bit more thought. Where to plug this in. It's been 45 minutes. I wanted to finish at 9:30. I started about 15 minutes late, but that's all right. So I think all good for today. Made some pretty good progress, fixed a couple of bugs, migrated the system over to just using the item. So we made the progress that we wanted. I think that's pretty good. It is now time to work on some other things. So I'm actually just going to start streaming another project on Radix that I'm working on, just to teach myself how to write Rust and Scripto code. So if you are interested in that, just stay on board. I'll be hopping straight over to that. Thanks for joining. And as always, can't raise my other arm. But it's fetching crush this week, guys. I'm trying to start off as strong as I can, getting all the things that I know that I struggle to get done right now. So let's fetch and go.